Okay, so we've simplified radicals and we've added and subtracted radicals. So today we're going to multiply radicals. So there's two different ways you can do it. You can multiply coefficients and what's under the radicals and then simplify. So basically you can multiply first and then simplify, or you can simplify and then multiply. So it's whichever you prefer. I like this first one. I like to multiply and then simplify. So number one, up here, make sure you read this. It says multiply the coefficients and what's under the radicals. So the difference between like 1 and 2 is on number 1, I can multiply the 2 and the 18 together. But on number 3, I can multiply only what's outside together. And then I can multiply what's inside together. Okay, so if we were doing number 1 and we multiply 2 times 18, that would be the square root of 36. And then we can break that down, or we know that 36 is a perfect square, so we would just get 6. Number 2, if we multiply under the radicals, 5 times 20 is 100. 100 is a perfect square, we just get 10. So then on number 3, now we've got coefficients. So we multiply the coefficients. Negative 2 times 4 is negative 8. And then we multiply that's under the radicals. So we have a square root of 3 times the square root of 3, which would be square root of 9. So this is multiplication right here. So let's simplify this. We know that square root of 9 is just 3. And if we multiply negative 8 times 3, we get negative 24. Okay, number 4, now we've got cube roots, which is okay. We'll just multiply what's under the root together, so we end up getting cube root of 8. And we can break that down, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. So there's a group of 2's. This is a perfect cube. Our answer is just 2. Number 5. So number 5 is just like number 3, except instead of the multiplication symbol, we've got parentheses. So let's multiply the negative 3 and the negative 7 together. That would give us positive 21. And then we'll multiply the 6 and the 10 together, and that would give us square root of 60. Now remember, the one I like up here is multiply, then simplify. So here we multiplied, now we're going to simplify. So let's break down 60. 6 times 10, 2 times 3, 2 times 5. So we've got a pair of 2's. So that means that 2 can come out and multiply with this 21, which would be 42. And then left on the inside would be this 3 and this 5, which would give us 15. Number 6, so now we've got 3 things, so we're going to multiply all the outsides first. 3, a negative 1, and a negative 3 would give us positive 9. Then let's multiply the insides. 8 times 2 times 2, so that would be square root of 32. Now let's simplify that 32. So 4 times 8, 2 times 2, 2 times 4, 2 times 2. So we're taking the square root, so I'm going to circle pairs. There's a pair of 2's, and there's a pair of 2's. So 2 times 2 is 4, and I multiply that with this 9 would give me 36. And then this 2 is left inside the box, so 36 times the square root of 2. And remember, you can check this in your calculator. So if I was checking number 6 in my calculator to make sure I got that right, I could do 3 square root of 8 times negative square root of 2 times negative 3 square root 2, and then plug in my answer, 36 square root of 2. And I get the exact same thing. So you can still check these in your answers just like we did before. Okay, number 7. Now we'll add some variables in. So we're still going to multiply the numbers on the outside. 3 times 7 is 21. And then we'll multiply the numbers on the inside. So we have a 2 times a 6, that gives us 12. We have x times an x, that would be x squared. and then we have a y squared. So remember, when you multiply variables, you add the exponents. So I had 1x here and 1x here, so I added to get 2. So now let's simplify this. The 12 breaks down into 2 times 6, and 6 into 2 times 3. So there's a group of 2's. So 21 times 2 would be 42. Then I have a group of 2 x's. So you can do it this way if you want. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so 1x comes on the outside. And same for the y's. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so 1y comes on the inside. Sorry, comes on the outside. And then this 3 is left all by itself underneath here. Now you obviously cannot plug the x's and y's into your calculator to check it, but you could at least do the numbers if you wanted to. You could check the 42 square root 3, and you could check these numbers up here and see if that's the same. Okay, number 8. So now we have this single root being multiplied by these 2 roots added together. So we're going to use our distributive property. So first thing, square root 6 times square root 10 is going to be the square root of 60. And then I'm going to multiply the square root of 6 to the square root of 2, which will be square root of 12. Now on Friday we did adding and subtracting, so I can't add these together unless they're exactly the same. So let's see if we can simplify these at all. 60 would be 6 and 10. So I have a pair of 2. So the 60 breaks down into 2 square root of, the leftovers are the 3 and the 5, so 15, plus, and then we'll break the 12 down. I have a group of 2, so 2 square root 3. I cannot add these together because I have a 15 and a 3, so we're going to just leave it like that. Okay, number 9. So still distributing, but now we have that number in front, so we have a little bit more to multiply. So I'm going to multiply this one to this one. So I have this negative 2 times this 4 would give me negative 8. And then I have this 6 times this 3 would be square root of 18. Then I have this one times this one. So I have the negative 2 times the 7, which would be negative 14. And then I have the 6 times the 5, which is 30. So just be careful when you multiply. You're just multiplying the coefficients together and then the number under the radical together. So now let's simplify. 18 is 2 times 9. So I have a pair of 3's. Negative 8 times 3 would be negative 24. And this 2 is left all by itself. Minus 30 does not break down. 5 and 6, 2 and 3. So there's no pairs there, so we'll just leave it. Square root of 14 times, negative 14 times the square root of 30. And the last one, now we have a 4th root. So still multiply the numbers under. So it'll be 4th root of 16. And again, we add the exponents, x to the 10th. So if we break down the 16 first, we have 4 times 4, 2 times 2, and there's a group of 4 2's. So I can pull a 2 out, and then we see how many times does 4 go into 10 for the x's. It goes in 2 times, which means 2 x's on the outside, and our remainder is 2, which means we have 2 x's on the inside.